Good morning to all of you. Welcome to the Hindu Editorial Analysis for Proficiency in English. As usual, before I go to the editorial analysis, I would like to talk about the enrichment. What are you going to learn from today's editorial? You're going to learn 10 to 15 words. Words like condemned, convicted, semblance, brutally, clamor, regressive, pegged, endorse, shed, harassment. Many of these words are rather easy, except one or two. Other words are rather easy, should not be a problem. They're quite familiar. Besides these words, you're going to learn 5 idioms. Hue and cry, very important. Hard and fast, that is also important. Hobson's choice, it has been given many a time in bank exams. In the teeth of, that is also important. In the long run, it goes with everyday English. Besides these idioms, you're going to learn 5 phrasal verbs. What are they? Show up, shrug off, skim through, snap up, stand up to. All these go with effective English, and today you come across 2 new sources of learning. One is antonyms: innocent, guilty; acquit, convict; plaintiff, defendant; accuse, exonerate; fair, biased. Besides these, you're going to have a look at the prepositional combinations, which are very important from the exam point of view. What are these? Condemned to, semblance of or semblance to, either way it is correct. Convicted of, battle for life, battle for, set for a particular date, closer to, clamor on, lead to, imposition of, preference for. Before we go to the editorial page, let us have a look at the front page. Today's the Hindu paper, the front page. The first headline: Kamalnath resigns ahead of floor test. BJP set to form government. There is one important phrase: ahead of. Ahead of what? Floor test. Otherwise, the words are rather easy, should not be a problem. Singer's COVID-19 status has politicians worried. Another headline talks about Singer's COVID-19 status. She has tested positive. Has politicians worried? There is one more headline: 4 Nirbhaya convicts hanged to death at dawn. There are 2 important words here. One is convicts, which means the word convict is singular, convicts plural. A person who has been found guilty and a person who has been punished. And dawn, you got the word dawn yesterday. The time before the sunrise, it is bright, but before the sunrise. What is opposite word? Dusk. Otherwise, I don't see other headlines are not that important. Now let us go to page 8, the editorial page. On the left, you have 2 short editorials. The first one, the missing notes. This also talks about coronavirus, and we have touched many a time. The second short editorial, crime and punishment. I'm going to spend time on this today. An important one, easy one rather, but there's a message. That message is important rather, and you can learn a few important words and preposition combinations. The main editorial, every man is a part of the main. Every man is a part of the main. It talks about humanity as a whole, and every man is a part of that humanity. And the next article talks about blunting the economic impact of a pandemic. Here, pandemic is coronavirus, and blunting, reducing the economic impact. Let us go to the editorial. How does it start? Crime and punishment. What is a crime here? The rape committed in the year 2012. And what is a punishment? Death penalty or capital punishment. There are 2 important words. One is crime, a rape case. The other, punishment, death penalty. A society that prefers a male child has already condemned its women to an unequal world. This is a very good sentence. It talks about the present status. Today, if you take the Indian society, especially in the north, that's a general statement. A lot of people prefer a male child. The editorial says, a society, on the whole, a society that prefers a male child has already condemned its women to an unequal world. When you prefer a male child, it means what? You're relegating a female child to an inferior position. So the female child has already been condemned. Means what? In this context, the word condemned has a different connotation. What is the meaning of that? To assign one a particular fate or punishment. They have already been assigned a particular fate, rather inferior status, because male child is preferred, not a female child. This is rather thought-provoking, and the entire editorial is based on this particular mindset of the present-day society, the preference towards a male child and not preferring a female child. Now the editorial provides a background information, what exactly happened in the year 2012, and subsequent to that, how long did it take to give the punishment, to execute the state, the judgment, and what are the implications of this particular incident and the death penalty. The pre-dawn hangings, that's an important phrase. The pre-dawn, pre means before, the pre-dawn hangings of 4 men convicted. When you talk of a crime, you have to think of words like innocent, guilty, convicted, acquitted. Convicted, declared guilty of an offense. Convicted of the gang rape and murder of a 23-year-old woman may have brought a semblance of closure to her parents, prompting her mother to say, "Women will now feel safe." Now it talks about the hangings of, pre-dawn hangings of 4 men convicted. Convict opposite acquit. Here all the 4 men have been convicted, and one was left because he was juvenile, and another person committed suicide in the jail, hanging himself. The remaining 4, they were convicted of the gang rape, and they were hanged yesterday. The pre-dawn hangings of 4 men convicted of the gang rape and murder of a 23-year-old woman may have brought talks about a possibility. May expresses possibility, chances, but the chances are more. May have brought, here it goes with present perfect tense. May have brought what? A semblance, that's an important word. Semblance means resemblance, similarity, the 2 words you have to remember. Resemblance, from that you can take semblance, the related words, easy to remember. Semblance of closure, similarity to closure to her parents. The case has been closed, prompting her mother to say, "Women will now feel safe." On December 16, now the editorial provides the background information. On December 16, 2012, the woman was brutally raped. Here, was brutally raped, it is in past tense passive voice. Today, whatever you see in green color, they go with grammar. May have brought, may talks about possibility. Have brought, it talks about present perfect. May have brought, and was brutally raped. This is in past tense passive voice. What happened in 2012? The woman was brutally raped in an empty moving bus in Delhi, and she died after battling for her life later that month. Was brutally raped. Brutally means savagely. Savage, barbaric, uncivilized, cruel. All these words you have to recollect. A little over 7 years later, it has taken almost 7 years to punish the guilty or to punish those who have committed the crime. A little over 7 years later, the first date of execution means in this context, implementing the judgment of hanging the 4 convicts, the death penalty, executing the death penalty or capital punishment. The first date of execution was set for January 22nd, and the convicts tried all legal avenues possible to escape the punishment. Subsequent to that, the first date was January 22nd, and based on that, the convicts tried all legal avenues. The word avenue, it means, literal meaning of the word avenue, a road or a street with trees on either side. But in this context, the secondary meaning of the word avenues means ways or methods. Avenues possible, ways possible to escape the punishment. That is, because of that, it has taken almost 7 years, a little over 7 years. After the executions on Friday, her mother said, "Families will start teaching their boys that the punishment for such a crime will be severe. Death penalty is the ultimate, the final. So based on that, death penalty is also known as capital punishment." After the executions, what was the response of the mother of the girl who got raped and who was murdered? On Friday, her mother said, "Families will start teaching their boys that the punishment for such a crime will be severe. Nothing can be more severe than death penalty. But is India, the editorial poses a question and makes a person, this is a thought-provoking question, and the reader will start contemplating or thinking deeply about the present situation. What is the question here that makes one think? But is India any closer to guaranteeing safety for women? That is a million-dollar question. But is India any closer to guaranteeing safety for women? The statistical data provided by the editorial says no, it is a firm no. In fact, the crime rate has gone up. Atrocities against women, rape cases, the number has gone up, it hasn't come down. That's what the editorial talks about. It provides a statistical data. In 2012, the government of the day, the government that was in ruling, reacting to the clamor on the streets for justice. Reacting to the clamor, that's an important word. Clamor means shout loudly and insistently. Reacting to the clamor on the streets for justice, set up the Justice J.S. Verma Committee to look into rape laws. Set up. This is again in past tense, that's a phrasal verb. The Justice J.S. Verma Committee to look into rape laws, to investigate, to consider, and to spend time to research. All these words could be used. The report, filed in a month, that is again in the past, led to, that is again in the past, led to stringent changes to the Criminal Law Act 2013. Led to stringent changes. Already have got the word stringent. Means what? Strict. Led to stringent changes to the Criminal Law Amendment Act 2013. But several recommendations, there's a contradictory information. What is that? But several recommendations were simply not considered. Were simply not considered. This is again, they were not considered. They did not consider something. Something was not considered. It is in past tense passive voice. Was simply not considered, including those relating to marital rape and police reform. It talks about not considering some of the recommendations, and the sentence has been presented in past tense passive voice, and that including two things. One is marital rape, and the other police reform. On the imposition of the death penalty, impose, force upon, thrust upon. Impose is the verb form, imposition the noun form. On the imposition of the death penalty or capital punishment, the government went against what the Verma report had suggested. Because of this death penalty, the editorial says, the government went against what the Verma report had suggested. So let us see what the Verma report suggested in fact. It suggested that seeking such a punishment would be a regressive step in the field of sentencing and reformation. The Verma committee did not want the death penalty. It suggested that that would be a regressive step, returning to a former or less developed state, going back in the field of sentencing and reformation. Why did the Verma committee suggest that it would be a regressive step? If you look at the world, the scenario is, in many countries, death penalty or capital punishment has been banned. In our country also, a lot of intellectuals have been saying we should also ban death penalty, and it is rather regressive. Going back, it is not civilized. We have to create a just society where people are not prompted to commit something like that, and we should change the person because it cannot be a deterrent. Death penalty cannot be a deterrent. If that is the case, the number of crimes should come down, but in fact it has been contrary, it has gone up. So based on that, the Verma committee suggested that it would be a regressive step. And now repeat offenders in rape cases. Repeat offenders in rape cases, even those that, unlike the Nirbhaya case, did not involve murder, can be awarded a death sentence. Though they don't commit, one thing is committing rape, the other one killing the person, involving in murder. If they don't get involved in the murder, in spite of that, they can be awarded the death sentence. That's what it talks about. Did not involve a murder, that is in past tense, negative form. And can be awarded, this is in passive voice, they can award and something can be awarded. It is a helping verb in passive voice, can be awarded the death sentence or death penalty. The Verma committee had argued instead for rigorous imprisonment of a convict for life. The Verma committee did not approve the capital punishment. Instead of that, they had argued for rigorous imprisonment. There's one important word here, rigorous, severe. Had argued, that is in past perfect tense. It is a fact that, this is an important phrase, it is a fact that, this is in present tense. So what is a fact? It is a fact that sexual crimes against women have not come down since the Delhi case. Now, generally, people say those who oppose death penalty or capital punishment, they say their stand is death penalty cannot be a deterrent, and the statistics prove that point. Deterrent means something that stops someone from doing something, something that prevents. Death penalty cannot be a deterrent. It is a fact that sexual crimes against women have not come down since the Delhi case. The death penalty could actually encourage the rapist to kill the victim. Could actually encourage, there's a helping verb here, could. It talks about possibility, but the chances are less. May, chances are more. Might, could, should. Possibility, chances are less. The death penalty could actually encourage a rapist to kill the victim. Going by data, here the editorial provides the data, what happened 2012 onwards, and the present day situation or the present scenario. Going by the data in the National Crime Records Bureau report released in January 2020, a total of 3.78 lakh cases of crimes against women were recorded across India in 2018, compared to 3.59 lakh in 2017 and 3.38 lakh in 2016. The number has been going up, 3.38, then 3.59, then 3.78. It hasn't come down. And there's one important expression here. Crimes against women were recorded across India. That is again in past passive voice. The total number of rape cases in 2018, the number takes a singular verb, that you have to remember. The total number of rape cases in 2018 was pegged. Again, was pegged, past tense, passive voice, at 33,356, of which Madhya Pradesh registered 5,450 rapes, the maximum in 2018. Rapes, the number has gone up. That's what it talks about. It is apparent, this is again in present tense, it is apparent. Apparent is an important word. What does it mean? Obvious. What is obvious here? It is apparent that laws may have changed, but not mindsets. That's an important statement. The entire editorial talks about that. It says we have to change the mindsets, not the laws. If the mindset does not change, though we change the laws, the result is not going to be positive. It will be the same situation. It is apparent that the laws may have changed, but not mindsets. How does the editorial justify that statement? A society that endorses a preference for the male child has already condemned the girl child to an unequal world. This is a very important statement. A society that endorses, that's an important word, endorse, publicly support. Usually it goes with advertising. A celebrity endorses a particular product, publicly supports a particular product, says it's a good product. Then we use the word endorse. A society, it talks about the present day society, especially in our country. A society that endorses a preference for the male child has already condemned, this is in present perfect, has already condemned the girl child to an unequal world. That means they have been given a particular fate beforehand. What is that? They are being pushed into an unequal world. Why is this an unequal world? It is a male-dominated society, male chauvinistic society, and the very fact that the society prefers a male child proves that point. Until Indian leaders, policy makers, and society shed the gender bias and the thinking that they need to protect women as a question of honor, there will be no stopping crimes such as rape, sexual assault, and harassment. How does the editorial end? It says that no doubt we have to change the laws, but the focus is more on changing the mindset. So how does it go? The last sentence. Until Indian leaders, policy makers, and society, all these shed the gender, together they shed. There's an important word. Shed means what? To get rid of. Generally, the word shed goes with, if you take biology, it goes with snakes. Snakes, they shed the skin periodically, once in 3 months or once in 6 months. Shed inhibitions, shed your fears. Another typical combination that goes with the word shed. Try to shed your inhibitions. Try to become bold. Shed the gender bias. Here, get rid of what? The gender bias and the thinking that two things we have to change. from the mindset point of view. One is a gender bias, and the other, the thinking that they need to protect women as a question of honor. It has to be changed. There will be no stopping crimes such as rape, sexual assault, and harassment. And we don't change the mindset, then we cannot stop the crimes such as rape, sexual assault, and harassment. There will be no stopping, that is in future tense, and harassment, behavior that annoys or troubles someone. More than annoy, it is harass means trouble someone. That's all about today's editorial, a thought-provoking editorial, and it talks about the change in the mindset, not change in the laws. No doubt, change in the laws will definitely complement, change the present situation, the present scenario, but the editorial focuses on what is essential, what is indispensable. Change in the mindset is very important, and preference to the female child, a male child is not a good thing, and we should not discriminate male child between the male child and the female child. A very interesting editorial. Now it is time to work on your language proficiency. Have a look at these words and try to write the part of speech, then the meaning. Don't go to the meaning directly. All said and done, today educated couples, educated people, they are not particular about male child. They don't mind male child or female child. There is a change in the society, but not to a great extent. That is the point here. I don't see the responses. Live chat, I don't see live chat. And I will not be able to respond because I don't see that live chat button over here. That is rather strange. Whatever it is, I will wait for a few minutes. After that, I will tell the answers. The first word here, condemned. Condemn, it is a verb. It's a regular verb. Condemn means what? Disapproval. Answer is F, disapproval. I'll write the answer here. It is a verb. Excuse me. It is a verb. And answer is F, disapproval. Convicted. Convict, noun, convict, verb. It could be, and not ed, convict, verb. Convict, noun. But convicted, obviously, it is a verb. Means what? Sentenced. Answer is A. Semblance, easy to remember. If you remember the word resemblance, then you can remember the word semblance. Semblance means what? Semblance, part of speech, noun. And what is the meaning of that? Resemblance. Brutally, this is an adverb. They killed, they raped. How did they do it? Brutally. It answers the question how. Adverb of manner. And brutal means what? Savagely. Brutal, savage, barbaric, uncivilized, animal-like. All these words you could think of. Clamor, that's an important word. Clamor, again, part of speech, noun. Shout loudly. Answer is C. Regressive, that is also an important word. Regressive attitude, regressive step. So obviously it has to be an adjective. And what is the meaning of C is over? Regressive means returning. I is the answer, going back to the old state, uncivilized state. Pegged, part of speech, verb. And answer H, fixed. Pegged at something, fixed at something. Endorse, it's a verb. Endorses, obviously, endorsed, it's a regular verb. What is the meaning of endorse? Support, answer is J. Shed, shed means what? Shed is a verb. It could be a noun. And to get rid of, to get rid of. And what is the last one here? Harassment, M-E-N-T, it has to be a noun. But harass is a verb. Do remember? Harass, it's a verb. Harassment, a noun. And what is the meaning of that? Trouble. That's all about words and meanings. Have a look at the next exercise. Spot the errors. I'll wait for a few minutes, a few seconds rather, for each sentence, and then I will give the answer because I can't see your responses over here. That's a bit strange. I don't know the exact reason. The moment the news of the execution confirmed by the jail authorities, people broke into applause and thanked the judiciary and the Delhi police for delivering justice to Nirbhaya. That is a lengthy sentence. And where is the error? Whenever you come across a lengthy sentence, do remember you have to read the sentence meticulously and you have to identify the subject, related phrases and clauses, the verb, and the object, and also, besides the object, related phrases and clauses. You must have got enough time. The moment the news of the execution was confirmed, the moment something was confirmed, what is missing here? The helping verb to be in the past is missing. The moment the news of the execution, that is a phrase, the moment the news was confirmed, live chat is disabled, we are not able to answer. Okay, you listen to me, that's what I said. That is a bit strange. Who is this Anisha? I appreciate. I know the problem, that's what I've just said. And what you can do, what I can do, I can just give you a few minutes, you make a note of the error, and after, not minutes, rather seconds, then I will tell where the error is, you cross-check. That's the best thing we can do. Sentence number 1, the moment the news was confirmed, was missing. The Tamil Nadu governor shall take a decision on the release of the 7 convicts in the Rajiv Gandhi assassination case once the CBI-led multidisciplinary monitoring agency, MDMA, submits its report. Again, a lengthy sentence, looks like a short paragraph. Read, spend a few seconds, read meticulously. Think of the error. I will tell the answer, then you can cross-check. Thank you. Thanks for your response. And thanks for bringing it to my notice. I appreciate that, Anisha. The Tamil Nadu governor. This is rather easy. What is the subject here? The Tamil Nadu governor. But the word governor is a key word, that is third person singular, he or she. Then the sentence is in future tense. In future tense, any of the future tenses, if the subject is I or we can use will or shall. If the subject is second person singular, second person plural, third person singular, third person plural, we cannot use shall, we have to use will. So that is the error, sentence number 2. Sentence number 3. In one of the worst accidents in the fireworks industry, 8 workers were killed and 7 out of the 9 injured critical. This is a bit difficult, not easy under pressure. In one of the worst accidents, usually in the exam, quite often they ask questions related to the phrase one of the. Whenever you use the phrase one of the, do remember the noun should be in the plural form. Accident is not correct, accident is correct. That means what? There is no error here. In one of the worst accidents in the fireworks industry, 8 workers were killed and 7 out of the 9 injured were critical. What is missing here? 7 were critical. 7 out of the 9 injured. Put those words in bracket. 7 critical, 7 were critical. The helping verb were, to be in the past, were missing. Sentence number 4. Ending 18 days of political drama, Madhya Pradesh Chief Minister Kamal Nath on Friday submitted his resignation to Governor Lalji Tandon ahead of the Supreme Court mandate floor test. This is also a little difficult, not that easy. Try to not very difficult to some extent. What does it talk about? Floor test. Floor test is a noun. Before that, we have to use the adjective. Here, ahead of the Supreme Court mandate floor test. That is not right. Supreme Court mandated. D is missing here. Mandated floor test. Mandated, which floor test? Supreme Court mandated floor test. Here, Supreme Court mandated. That is a phrase, adjective phrase. Mandate is not correct. Mandated floor test is correct. Related to adjective. Bollywood singer Kanika Kapoor's announcement on Friday that she has tested positive for COVID-19 triggered a scare among several top politicians. This is rather easy, should not be a problem. Here on Friday, time is in the past, and announcement, verb is in the past, has tested. Here has, present perfect cannot be used, it should be had tested. Past changes to past perfect. She had tested positive for COVID-19, triggered a scare among several top politicians. There is an exercise related to para-jumble. All lengthy sentences, not easy. And you have to take the elimination approach. This cannot be the first sentence, but hold the second one. This you cannot decide. Well, after. That complacency cannot be the first sentence. You have to decide between B and C. Obviously, the answer is B. What is the first sentence? Prime Minister Narendra Modi, in his address to the nation on Thursday on the coronavirus pandemic, rightly focused on what people should do in what is fast turning into a crisis situation. Adding more information. Usually writers, they make the present information. Immediately they try to present contrasting information. But, so what is the second sentence here? But there was very little by way of reassurance to the people about what the government was doing or planning to do to mitigate, reduce the developing crisis. So BA, one idea. Next, battling maladies of various kinds all the time, a large segment of population has developed a detrimental, dangerous fatalism, a belief that already something has been decided, we cannot change the fate, against which Modi had spoken earlier. This is the third sentence, C. That complacency, that is nothing but complacency. Complacency means a feeling of being satisfied with what one has. Complacency, being complacent is not a good thing. That complacency, this goes with, so what is the next one? That complacency, E is the fourth one. And what is the last one? Large gatherings of people at private, state and religious events have continued well after the nature of the disease became clear. And the last one is D. So what is the correct order? 2 sentences, 1 idea, BA, and 3 sentences, 1 idea, CED. Not easy under pressure for 2 reasons. Though the context is familiar, lengthy sentences, under pressure, not easy to make out. This is an interesting close test, short paragraph, very interesting. In this paragraph, you see a lot of words which are really useful and important from the exam point of view. In the Kannada novel Samskara by Gnanpith awardee U.R. Ananthamurthy, the upper caste Brahmins in a village deep in rural North Karnataka who are caught in the what? Rituals, grip, irreverent, hedonistic, austere, epidemic phase. Then you cannot use the word rituals, you cannot use the word irreverent, that goes with respect, you cannot use the word hedonistic, that goes with pleasure, you cannot use the word austere, it means very strict, strictly following something. So, epidemic, it is usually something that causes fear. So we have to use the word. Answer is the grip of an epidemic, the grip of a pandemic, face existential dilemmas. Look at the wording, excellent wording, and the words are very good. The pattern, the sentence patterns are really quite interesting and appreciable. Their deeply held religious beliefs and religious, what are the words that go with religion? Religious beliefs, religious rituals, religious practices, religious dogmas. So here, rituals, what is the answer? Religious beliefs and religious rituals. Or on test, that's an important phrase, or on test. The chief priest of the village, Praneshacharya, a devote means a person who follows religion very strictly. That's not a regular word, an important word. Austere Brahmin, it seems right. Austere means very strict, following the religion strictly. What is the answer here? Austere Brahmin. And who has to provide the answers? His neighbor, Naranappa. And is a clue for you. It cannot be hedonistic. It has to be irreverent. So what is the answer here? And irreverent. This comes from the word reverence. Reverence means respect, admiration, adoration. Adore someone, admire someone, respect someone. We use the word reverence. Opposite, irreverent and rebellious Brahmin, who has a lifestyle. So what is the last word here? What sort of a lifestyle? Hedonistic lifestyle. Hedonist, a person who believes in pleasure, always wants pleasure. He or she thinks life means to enjoy. Life is only to enjoy. Life is to have all sorts of pleasures. Hedonistic lifestyle. Short passage, short paragraph. In fact, I've taken this from all these exercises are from today's the Hindu paper, and this has been taken from the editorial page. I found this very interesting for two reasons. One, the context goes with Indian traditions. The other, in so many sentences, the writer has used excellent words, effective words, which is highly appreciable. That is so. First one, it is grip of an epidemic. Second one, beliefs and religious beliefs and rituals. And third, devout, important word, a person who believes or follows religion strictly. Austere Brahmin, again a person who practices traditions, rituals very strictly, austere. And irreverent, rebellious, negative words, means not showing any respect, who has what sort of a lifestyle? Hedonistic lifestyle. All these words are very important. Now have a look at the word map. Clamor, that's an important word. Noisy protest, we also use the word expression, noisy protest. For that, there is one idiomatic expression, hue and cry, which is very important. Shout loudly, easy to remember. Shriek. Shriek, we can also recollect the word yell, shout. Bedlam, this is an important word. Clamor is an important word. Shriek is an important word. Pandemonium, very important. I would like to give 2 stars. Pandemonium, bedlam, and hue and cry. These have been given in many competitive exams, and do remember, quite often you come across, when you read the passage or close test, you come across these words. And tumult also, I would like to give 2 stars. Very important. There are 5 phrasal verbs. Some of them go with everyday English, and some of them go with effective English. Show up. It goes with everyday English, and also it goes with effective English. Show up means appear. Show up before the door. Show up for the event. Show up for the function, for the meeting. Appear. Shrug off. Shrug means using your shoulders and showing. It goes with non-verbal communication. Gestures. Shrug off something means what? Reject something. Show up, E. Shrug off, D. Skim through. This goes with reading. Skim through something, a magazine or a book. Read superficially, not meticulously. Then we say, skim through the pages. Not a good thing. Snap up, an important one. What is the meaning of that? Grab quickly. Snap up the opportunity. Snap up the offer. Grab quickly. Stand up to. This is also an important one. And what are you left with? Face or resist. Stand up to the protest. Stand up to the something negative. There are 5 idioms which are equally important. Hue and cry, this is the most important. If you look at the number of times this has been touched in various competitive exams. Hue and cry. If you read the newspaper, quite often you come across this expression. There was a hue and cry in the parliament. Hue and cry means what? Noisy, angry behavior. C is the answer. Hard and fast, it goes with rules. Generally, we say there are no hard and fast rules in this office. Means what? Firm and fixed. D is the answer. He doesn't like hard and fast rules. That is another expression. And Hobson's choice, this has been given so many times. I use regularly. It is like Hobson's choice. Means what? No choice at all. Hobson's choice means no choice. It has been given many a time. Rather tricky. In the teeth of, this is also very important. It has been given in SBI a few times. In the teeth of, in the opposition of. E is the answer. In the long run, I use this quite often. If you read the Hindu paper, the Hindu editorials, that will help you in the long run. So what are you left with? B, ultimately, eventually. In the long run, the habit of reading the Hindu paper takes you to a different level and fetches you success. It will be very useful. Now, what have you learned from today's editorial? Very unfortunate you could not respond because that has been disabled, live chat. But still, I hope about 80 students are watching. I appreciate all those students. And what have you learned? You have learned the words condemned, not that important, rather familiar. Convicted, related to crime. Semblance, an important word. Brutally, you have got many a time. Convicted, you have got many a time. Clamor, rather important. Regressive, going back to the old state, previous state, something negative. Pegged, you have got many a time. Endorse, rather easy. And shed, rather easy. Harassment, rather easy. Hue and cry, an important idiomatic expression you have to remember. And hard and fast, it goes with the rules. Hue and cry goes with protest. Remember the combinations. Hobson's choice goes with choice. It means no choice at all. That is rather tricky. In the teeth of, very important. In the long run, rather easy. Show up, important. It goes with formal English as well as informal English. Shrug off, reject something, important. Skim through, rather easy. It goes with everyday English. Reading. Snap up, important. Stand up to, important. Besides these phrasal verbs, words, and idioms, what have you learnt today? You have learnt antonyms which are related to. All these are related to crime. Create a word map, crime, and try to write the related words. That will help you in the long run. Innocent. Innocent goes with everyday English. It goes with, it is a legal term. So is guilty. Innocent, everyday English, what does it mean? A person who doesn't know anything. Guilty, you feel bad for doing something. They go with everyday English. But in this context, they are legal terms. Innocent means a person who has not committed crime. Guilty means a person who has committed crime. When a person is found innocent, he will be acquitted, set free, not punished. When a person is found guilty, he will be convicted. He will get the punishment. Plaintiff, whenever there is a problem, we try to file a case. The person who files a case, plaintiff, and the person who tries to defend himself is a defendant. This is an important word. Plaintiff, defendant, rather easy to make out. Accuse, you point out someone, then we use the word accuse. And opposite, exonerate, stop accusing, stop blaming. Exonerate, absolve, these are important words. Fair, rather easy. Biased, rather easy. What is the other word for biased? Prejudice, that you have to recollect. Now today the focus is on prepositional combinations which are very important from the exam point of view. Condemned to, semblance of or semblance to, convicted of, battle for life, set for a particular date, closer to, gender equality. India is not closer to gender equality. Clamor on the streets. Clamor where? On the streets. lead to something, led to something. Imposition of rules and regulations, imposition of the death penalty, imposition of capital punishment. Preference, the word prefer takes a preposition prefer, to, but preference for, a different combination. You have to remember that. That's it for today from today's editorial. Hope you guys have got enriched. Have a nice weekend, a great day and a nice weekend. I will see you on Monday with a new editorial to enrich your language proficiency. Thank you very much.